This is about basically spending better and spending together.
Canada will join the European Defence Fund. It means Canadian defence firms will have access to both funds and expertise to develop their lines of business.
It will provide 150 billion euros of loans to member states for defense investment.
A line was crossed that most people did not even realize was possible. Canada has officially joined the European Union's Security Action for Europe program, a 150 billion euro defense financing mechanism. And for the first time in modern NATO history, U.S. defense contractors are locked out of major procurement contracts involving one of Washington's closest allies. Pause for a second and understand the scale of that. For decades, the system was predictable. If Canada needed advanced fighter jets, it turned to companies like Lockheed Martin. If it required missile systems, radar networks, surveillance architecture, or next-generation combat platforms, the supply chain almost automatically ran south. Roughly 70 to 75% of Canadian defense procurement flowed directly into U.S. industry. 70 to 75%. That was not cooperation. That was structural dependence. Now that structure is shifting. Security Action for Europe, known as SAFE, is valued at 150 billion euros. It was created to strengthen Europe's defense manufacturing, to finance joint procurement, to accelerate submarine development, cyber warfare systems, and next-generation weapons production built largely inside European industrial supply chains. And now Canada is inside that framework. Canada becomes the only non-European country granted full participation, full financing access, full eligibility in joint procurement, full integration into development pipelines. But there is a rule that changes everything. Most components funded under SAFE must be produced within Europe or by approved partners under European conditions. American contractors cannot bid on many of these contracts. This is not symbolic diplomacy. This is industrial redirection. In 2026, tensions between President Donald Trump and Ottawa intensified. Trade friction escalated. Tariff language returned. Defense spending pressure increased. The expectation was compliance. The result was diversification. When pressure increases, nations calculate risk. Canada calculated. And the answer was alternatives. Consider the submarine replacement strategy. Canada is preparing to replace its aging fleet. That decision alone represents tens of billions of euros over time. Historically, much of that capital would have reinforced U.S. defense supply chains. Under SAFE participation, increasing portions can now flow through European shipyards, European electronics firms, European weapons manufacturers. That is not a small adjustment. That is a generational shift. Now look north. Canada is upgrading Arctic capabilities, strengthening surveillance, expanding sovereignty infrastructure. Arctic modernization requires advanced sensors, naval assets, satellite resilience, cyber integration. Through SAFE's 150 billion euro pool, Canada gains shared development access while reducing single-source dependency. Then there is cyber warfare. Modern conflict is no longer defined only by tanks and aircraft. It is defined by encrypted communications, digital battlefield coordination, satellite protection, cyber counter-offense platforms. SAFE integrates cyber defense collaboration across European partners, and Canada is plugging directly into that ecosystem. That changes leverage inside NATO. For decades, NATO's industrial gravity leaned heavily toward Washington. Procurement created influence. Contracts created dependency. Dependency created negotiating power. When 70 to 75% of procurement flows in one direction, influence follows that direction. Now, billions of euros may begin flowing elsewhere. Defense giants such as Raytheon Technologies historically benefited from this structural alignment. But when 150 billion euros in European financing opens to Canada under European production rules, the competitive landscape shifts. And once supply chains shift, they rarely return to their original form. This is not about abandoning NATO. It is about balance. It is about leverage. It is about ensuring that no single partner holds overwhelming structural advantage. When an ally feels sustained economic pressure, it searches for insulation. SAFE offers insulation. It offers financing. It offers manufacturing partnerships. It offers technological diversification. And that is why this move is historic. 150 billion euros is not just a budget figure. It is industrial capacity. It is employment networks. It is research laboratories. It is shipyards. It is digital infrastructure. It is influence built over decades. Canada stepping into that system redraws quiet lines inside the Western Alliance. Not dramatically, not overnight, but procurement by procurement, contract by contract, billion by billion. The deeper shock is not that Canada joined SAFE. The deeper shock is that a core North American ally decided it needed alternatives and found them inside Europe's 150 billion euro defense architecture. And when alternatives become real, leverage changes. When leverage changes, negotiations change. And when negotiations change, the balance of power inside alliances begins to evolve. This is not a headline moment. It is a structural one. And structural shifts, once started, rarely move backward.